from people who died, who said that the information did not get to them, that they're supposed to leave
on
their
time
environment and so on, and they died. So what is the role of information in this society where we don't have people as enlightened as a place like Florida?
Well, that's why you have agencies like the National Orientation Agency. So while NIMET and the Nigeria Geological Service Agency raising the alarm and waking NEMA and their state counterparts to action, the National Orientation Agency should also be part of this. One thing is that the National Orientation Agency has presence in virtually all the states of the Federation. Use of local languages, recruiting traditional rulers as people who can communicate their message to the people. It's a whole thing, you know. So we just have to look at this holistically and start. It's already happening. So we should be looking at 2023, what we can also do. Because, like I mentioned, the IPCC report this year is that these kind of incidences is going to increase.
So what should we do ahead of 2023, where we are having an increment?
We have to start raising the...
Should we build buffer dams?
The buffer dams that we're supposed to build, I think we should start advocating or heightening the advocacy for our government to do just that. It's not big dams. The reason why big dams are not recommended these days is because once there's a breach, the catastrophe is worse. So small, and that's what was recommended when the Lagdo Dam was built. That since Nigeria is, you know, the low-lying plains, we should build those buffer dams to assimilate the water so that the effect is not going to be so much on, you know, communities that are, you know, by the Niger and river. And if you look at the map of Nigeria, once the Lokoja axis is flooded, like we have today, it's going to sneak its way until it gets to the Niger Delta. The exit point ultimately will be the Bayelsa. So you are going to have this level of flooding also in Bayelsa.
So should state governments take up that responsibility?
Of course, they have to. The unfortunate is that what you hear them talk about all the time, once you have floods that they can manage, is ecological funds. The little they can do to build shelters, what will it take? Do you need the federal government to build shelters?
But what are we doing with that fund? What's the essence of that fund in the first place?
No, the fund only comes in at that point where the state can no longer manage it. It's not, this is within the purview of the state.
Now we're talking about the financing. How many states actually give money to their own environmental agencies?
So that's what we need to
their
probe.
Budget? So that's the problem. That's why I say that it's also a budgetary and priority problem. Because I'm sure those states environmental agencies don't have more than probably 2 million naira, and maybe the money will be disbursed to them. When the crisis comes, it goes back to the government, state governor, and the governor will start saying, well, I don't have any money for that. Then they start scrambling for a response that will never come. Then they start saying, federal government come with your ecological funds, when they should have started the groundwork about preventing this environmental disaster.
It's completely avoidable. This situation could have been managed better. So we hope we're going to learn from this. We hope.
We've been hoping since 2012. 10 years down the line, we are still here. So
what can be done differently?
Yeah. That's it.
Now, when these things happen, it is easy for us to analyze it in terms of what went wrong. Now that things have gone wrong, the consequences are there. What about the health implications of all of this?
Oh, of course.
Diseases that
diseases will follow. I mentioned it earlier that by the time the waters recede,
that's when the real issues come.
Yeah, you are going to have a lot of health-related issues concerning the kind of water people will be drinking, because now the wells are, you know, are contaminated with these flood waters, the boreholes, everything. So by the time this is over, that is when it actually begins. It's unfortunate.
Another kind of...
so people are only saying the waters now. When it recedes, the flood waters are poisoned everything.
We are already seeing a church collapse in Anambra, so we are going to see more collapse.
More collapse because the houses the foundations of those houses will be eroded. And then the waterborne diseases, illnesses will follow. Typhoid.
So, but this is not a state government issue because we see that these things are happening across states.
The states
What of the interactions between the state governors and so on? Isn't it high time they came together and said, okay, you are Kogi, I am Anambra, we have this problem together. Why can't they have collaborations on how to come together and pool resources and ideas to help them? Because the way it is, it's not what happened in Lokoja is not a Lokoja problem. It is also an Anambra problem.
Of course.
It is also a Nigerian problem.
Yes.
It goes back and back and back and back.
Can I throw this
It's also a Cameroonian problem.
I think in 2012, when this flooding happened, a presidential committee was set up. They raised some, I can't remember the sum, is it 21 billion or something? I can't remember. People also have to ask, because that committee had, I think, the governors and some private sector people.
Yes, they donated. It was Jonathan's time.
Yeah, President Jonathan's time.
What happened to the money?
What happened to the money?
But that's where your NGO comes in to follow the money, to know what was done.
We are asking questions.
Okay.
We are asking questions. And this is a Nigerian problem. And we have to speak as Nigerians. So it cannot be left to just some people.
The Lagdo Dam matter.
Hold on. Yes. Did you guys ever investigate that money?
Well, that level of investigation is not what our organization can do. We can only raise the alarm. We can only mention it that that's why I'm not very, very precise. But I know there was a presidential committee that was set up and that they raised money.
They made a lot of noise about it.
They made a lot of noise and, what has happened. So as we speak, we are not just talking to ourselves. We are talking to Nigeria. The relevant agencies that should investigate what happened with those monies should be listening to us and take it up.
How about a diplomatic solution to this Lagdo Dam matter from Cameroon? Is that an option for us as we speak?
I think it's going to be quite hard. Why? Cameroon will always take the safety and security of its people and the safety of the dam first before any diplomatic discussion. Because if there's a breach, there's a reason why you have that dam in northern Cameroon. They have issues of drought and things like that, and they need a dam to ensure agriculture continues to function.
Right.
But they will release waters just like any other dam. I think the Onion River in Ogun State, the dam was also open. So Yakute area of Lagos, you also have some level of flooding. So it is, and that's why big dams are not recommended. But once there's the threat that it may burst because of the level of water, they must release water.
Right. We'll have to leave the conversation here now and hope for the best from the various governments, level of government, state, federal, to addressing this matter of flooding. But we must thank you, Director of Programs, Corporate Accountability and Public Participation, Africa, Philip Jakpor, for your time on the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right.